Hello. I took over now. I'm gonna teach you pencils. Yes. Evil pen. Uh-oh, he's back. Run away! I did miss him.
Welcome Reaper fans! Today we have something different. Today I'm painting a complete box set. This is from Reaper Miniatures. This is a Dragon Bone Catapult. This is full metal, and I just thought I would show you this because these sets are really good value for money and they are fantastic. Simple. Now this set comes in the multi-part kit. All the miniatures are together, so we got all the skeletons. We got the skeleton crew for the catapult of 4 miniatures, plus we have the catapult, and it comes in these lovely boxes with the foam inserts to protect your miniatures. Once you've finished your miniature, you can always use the box as a carry case. I use it to store paints in and all sorts of things. So what we need to do is we need to get this miniature stuck together and onto some bases. Now for the large catapult, I'm going to be using a base Boss 75mm base, and I will be gluing this to the base once I have put the miniature together. Now for sticking these miniatures together, I recommend this Loctite liquid super glue. This is fantastic for metal and will really work and hold your miniature together. As for the smaller miniatures, these will also be mounted onto 1-inch round base Boss bases. So I'll be sticking them onto the bases and adding some growl effects, the same as the catapult. Now for prepping up your miniatures, let me show you what we need to do, because metal is a completely different ball game from your Reaper Bones or your Bones Black miniatures. It's the same principle, except you're using metal. But with the metal, to get rid of your mold lines, we use little files. Now you can get files from Army Painter, you can get them from Citadel Workshop, or any very good hobby shop. Now all you do with the flashing is you go around the miniature and you see any lines and you just go over with your file just to remove any of the mold lines, and it's as simple as that. So what I'm going to do is I will get all these miniatures stuck together, put onto their bases, and then I'll come back, show you the primer I use for metal, and then we'll go straight into the painting. Well, my undercoat is on now, and what I've done, I've moved the camera so we can get some nice close-up shots. So this is the miniature. There we are, nice, and got the focus just right, so we should be able to move on, and I can show you some miniatures in the future with some close-up painting, which will be really good fun. Now the undercoat I'm using is from MSP. It is brush on primer. You can get this in white or black from Reaper Miniatures, and you don't need to thin it down with water. You just put it over your metal and you get a nice coat to work from. So what we'll do now is we'll go into the painting stage. I've already done the bottom and the base of the catapult. What I haven't done is stuck the wheels on, because I wanted to get the bottom done. But what I have done is I did the base ready. So I've put some gravel on this base. I will be giving out a coat of grey paint, and I'll finish off that base. And what I'll do is I'll stick the catapult onto the base once I've finished painting the catapult, because I want to get to all the bottom parts, and if I stick it to the base I won't be able to paint them. So I will come back once I've got my station ready. We'll be going with Skeleton Bone by MSP, and I will be back in 5 minutes. It's a quick 5 minutes. So I'm going to show you one of the skeletons. I mean, the catapult and the 4 skeletons, they're all bones. So what I'm using is a skeleton bone from MSP, Reaper Miniatures. I am just going to give a nice coat of skeleton bone to the miniature. because we're doing the bone first, it doesn't matter if you go over to the other parts of the miniature. So we're just getting the skeleton bone over the whole mini. And I'll be doing this on all the miniature, including the catapult. I mean, the only difference on the catapult is the wheels. The wheels are a wood effect. So here we are. I'm just using an old brush. The bristles aren't too clever on it. Use your good brushes to do the main lot details, but always use your old brushes for doing things like the base coating and things like that, because there's no point throwing them away. You can get some use out of them and save yourself a little bit of money. So I use my brushes that I've ruined for my base coats. And there we are. So that's got the coverage of skeleton bone. Now I will let that dry, and once that's dry I go over with some Agrax Earthshade or brown ink wash. You can use the brown ink wash from MSP, that's just as good as the Agrax Earthshade. I prefer using the Agrax Earthshade because I use it so much and it comes in a bigger bottle, but that is the only reason why I go for the Agrax Earthshade, is because it comes in a bigger bottle. So any brown ink wash will do. Once that's dry, I will cover that with ink wash and I will come back and show you what's next. It's a very simple paint today, but the finished miniatures will look fantastic. So here we are with the ink wash on. What I've done now is I have painted the base with a grey and added some brown for the wood. I used Lone Star leather for the wood. What we'll do now is I'll put a slight dry brush over the whole miniature. This will be the skeleton bone again. I will dry brush over the skeleton, and then I'll add a tiny bit of white to the skeleton bone and dry brush on top of that once more. It's very, very simple and looks very, very effective. Same with the actual catapult. As you can see, I've done all the bone with skeleton bone, covered with Agrax Earthshade, and now I will dry brush with the skeleton bone again, and on top of that I will add a little bit of white to the skeleton bone, and I will continue the dry brushing to highlight the certain areas of the bone on the highest areas. The wheels I have painted in brown. They will be dry brushed and then given a highlight with some Agrax Earthshade. Then I will go over and add in all the silver parts for the wheels. I will come back once I've added all these parts and we'll go from there. I'm coming on really well with the catapult now. Let me show you how we get on. This is the skeleton now so far. I've done some dry brushing with the lighter skeleton bone. I've painted in the wood and painted in the hammers. Now I've used silver for the hammer. What you do then is you cover the hammer with black ink wash and then highlight once more with your silver. And I've done this with the other miniatures too. All I need to do now is go over the fine details and this miniature will be finished. Same again with the catapult. Highlighting is done. I'm just finishing off the wheels. I've got to put some black ink wash around the wheel trims, and then I'll highlight that with some more silver, and this will be almost finished. It's a very simple paint when you're doing skeletons. You can get a whole legion of skeletons done in one day. This is the commander from the catapult. I'm going to add some gold to his staff and to his shield, and what I'll do is I'll come back once I've finished the miniature. So here we are at the end. This is the finished miniature. This is the Dragon Bone Catapult, and with its 4 crew, and really love this miniature. I love metal anyway. If anybody ever says, what does the Goblin King like? Prefer metal or bones? Bones black? There'll be metal every time. Metal has a nice weight to it. It feels good on the tabletop. Just picking up the little figure, you feel the weight straight away. And you know, when the cats jump on the table, you got more chance of the miniatures actually staying up instead of getting flicked off the table. So I'll give you a little 360. Skeleton hordes are a wonderful thing to paint because they are quite simple. It's a very basic paint that you need, but the effect works out beautifully. As you can see, all the skeletons, almost the Jason and the Argonauts. Yes, beautiful. I added the red to the helmet of the captain and the gold trim on the shield. The rest is silver with black. I added some gold tips to the skeleton holding the loader, as I call it. The wheels have been weathered with black ink wash and then highlighted with a tiny bit of silver. And the same goes with the bucket to put your bones in. So there we are. This is the box set. I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic miniature. This one is from Reaper Miniatures. And now I will show you what I'm going to be painting next week. Next week's paint, we have the brand new Demon from Reaper Miniatures. This is a Bones Black Special. This is the upgraded version of the original Bones version, which I have as well. I'll go into more detail in the next video. And this is next week's paint. This is awesome. I really like this new mould. The new sculpt on this miniature is fantastic. I'm giving a very slow 360 because it's not stuck together and it will fall apart any second. So, next week, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. If you like what I do, then please become my patron. If you become my patron, your name will be added to all the credits of all my videos, and it helps me to buy my paints and my brushes and continue what I'm doing. So, until next time.
Goodbye, my fellow ones. Sleep well. Dream of evil paintbrushes.